everyone, welcome to the Superhero Show. Daniel and Chris here, as always. This week, Hugh Jackman has been giving it all out on Twitter.
He has. He put out a tweet saying, my last time putting on the claws, what do you want to see happen? 50 words or less. I'll read as many as I can. Which immediately I thought, shouldn't it be 140 characters or less?
Yeah, 50 words. Well, it depends on the words. Surely. Also, just crowdsourcing the script for Wolverine 3 is probably not a great idea.
We might have an email on that subject.
Okay.
So we got some feedback from you guys about that, as did Hugh. He got thousands of replies. I've got some of those to read out in a bit, but we'll kick off with Simon Hamilton said, I noticed a lot of news flying about Hugh Jackman and the last Wolverine movie. While he's been one of the best comic book actors, I can't see Fox retiring the Wolverine character when Jackman steps down. So this makes me wonder if we're going to see the death of Logan in the upcoming film. Fox could then recast him and then do some type of movie where one of the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, if they do cross over, travels back in time to recruit a younger, more aggressive Logan and bring him into the future where he could team up with the newer X-Men. That way Fox could take full advantage of a new young cast while still having its biggest hero at the forefront of the franchise. I like your thinking, Simon.
I mean, that's interesting. Because at the minute, so when we're recording the show today, the news broke about maybe Channing Tatum falling through as Gambit. By the time this goes out, maybe that's been resolved one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I felt like for a while maybe they were setting him up to replace Wolverine for a little bit. So you don't have to recast Wolverine immediately, and you've got this big star who
you can't get Bob Hoskins because he died, so he's not available.
Yeah, moving on. Ryan from Devon has written in. He says, I saw that Hugh Jackman tweeted out asking for a fan request for his final Wolverine outing. This made me wonder a few things. Firstly, what your request for the movie would be. Mine would simply be the classic yellow suit and maybe a Deadpool crossover. And secondly, if you think this is a good method for ensuring fans are satisfied with superhero movies and one that could potentially be used more going forward, fan involvement has been pivotal in certain comic storylines. See the death of Jason Todd vote. It's entirely possible this is how some aspects of the movies may be made from now on. Is it intelligent marketing and an idea gathering or lazy fan service?
I think it's a bit of both. I think we are seeing films done in that way. Certainly casting is. We've talked about it before on here. I think studios put the rumours out there of certain people playing characters and just see how the internet responds. I mean, I guess it didn't make much difference with them casting Ben Affleck because that was a lot of negativity, yet he retained the role. But I certainly think they do listen.
Yeah.
They're very interested in what we're tweeting about and what we're saying. They probably make the decision based on the superhero show.
I think.
I would suggest.
We're thought, we're kingmakers here on the superhero show. But I think it's difficult then because obviously that phrase that a camel is a horse made by committee. You don't want sometimes people don't know what they want, and there was a lot of negativity around Batfleck. And then there's that trailer out of Comic-Con. Oh, he's Batman. He's look at him running into the cloud of dust. He's definitely Batman. I always thought he was Batman. It's very, well, of course, sometimes people can't see the test.
Yeah, there was a lot of negativity around Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Is a good example. And
of course.
That worked out. But it's interesting with this. We'll see what the story is that they tell. Because Wolverine fans, for ever since I can remember, have been clamouring for Old Man Logan to be adapted. Wait till Jackman gets a bit older, do that storyline, and it'll be interesting to see if that's the direction they go in.
Yeah, and it's weird to think when they make this movie, we'll have had a trilogy, an entire trilogy of standalone Wolverine movies, but they feel very disconnected in so many ways. Like the first one, obviously, I think it's a bit of a disaster in many ways. I can't barely remember it. There's things you stand out from that. Deadpool, obviously. Being bastardized in that movie. The second one, bit better. Went back, tried to adapt a classic arc of him going to Japan that people wanted to see for a long time. It's pretty good. Maybe didn't nail it. So with this one, it's like they can kind of do whatever they want with the Wolverine movies, which is kind of liberating.
It's the same director as the last one, so I feel like there'll
James
be
Mangold.
Yeah, there'll be connective tissue in that way. Like he's the first film had nothing to do with him, but I'm sure he'll want to make it feel like a direct sequel to what he did in the last one. I mean, I for one would like to see Old Man Logan. I just don't know how you do that story. It's a nice idea, but actually putting that on screen, you've got the X-Men all being murdered, so that's going to be a problem for Fox's cash cow. You've got a bunch of villains who they don't own the rights to, and a lot of stuff with Hulk. Now, Jackman said he wants to see Wolverine fight Hulk. we want to see Wolverine fight Hulk. You do as well, but that's not possible at present. Because
his first appearance in a Hulk comic. But also, like, I think what they do, I think they'll just lift the concept of him being an old man. Like, him at the end of days or something like that.
Yeah.
And just start with that title, because it's such a cool concept. Because this man, that's the sadness and the melancholy of the character. He will outlive all these people. That's one of the most effective bits in the first Wolverine movie, is that montage at the beginning. This man has been not through one war, he's been through multiple wars. Imagine the trauma that's like given him.
Yeah. And the last Wolverine movie was like a samurai film. This could be more like the Western.
Yeah.
You know, everyone said from the moment Old Man Logan got published as it's kind of like the Unforgiven of comic book stories.
Yeah.
And so why not make the Unforgiven movie of comic book movies?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some of what the tweets that Hugh received?
Can't wait.
I printed some of them out. Do you want the names of these people? Some of them I don't want to read out. I'll just read out some of the tweets. So someone said, Old Man Logan, please. Someone said, Old Man Logan, Wolverine in the style of Mad Max Fury Road.
That'd be good.
I'll buy that for $1. How about putting on the suit just once on film? The replica shown in the last movie looked cool. Once before you walk.
I wonder if that could happen in Apocalypse. Because Singer is he's saying basically we're going to get the closest to the comic book uniforms than we've ever seen. Psylocke is a great example of that. It looks like the Jim Lee drawing. And if Wolverine just has a cameo in the movie in that suit, it would be a shame if he comes to the end of his time playing Wolverine and he never wears that. And I feel like they might not be able to get away with it in a massive action sequence, but just one shot or in a silhouette, people would lose their minds.
There were a lot of tweets saying they want the suit.
Just the
want the suit. Omar says, redeem your sins, revenge what they had been taking from you, take everyone's life. The world doesn't deserve a second chance.
Okay.
Basim says, something small, almost entirely silent in the wilderness. Wolverine hunted. Kurosawa's No Country for Old Men. Smiley face. Doug White says, a fight between you and the Hulk. Ness Cries says, Wolverine hosts an Aussie barbecue. Think about how many snags he could rotate on those bad boys. Neil Maker says, honestly, I'd really like them to show the death of Wolverine, just like they did in the comics. Hatcher says, include some of Logan's feral years and the ladies he loved during that time.
That's it. That's not an official movie.
Jeffrey Lapid says, Wolverine accidentally chops off his own dick. Hugh didn't respond to that one.
He read it, though.
I'm not going to read out this person's name.
He favourited it.
I'm not going to read out this person's name. Read that out.
Probably not.
Facing the ghost of his past, going to war with his demons, being hunted by X-23, sacrificing his life, passing on the mantle. For a horrible name, he had quite a serious answer. And
horrible name.
Finally, Julian says, I'd like to see a satisfying end for Logan, retiring without his healing factor and with someone he loves.
Oh, be nice if he had a happy ending. But I don't think that's fitting.
I'd like him to sing a song. You can't stop Jackman from singing a song on a chat show.
You could do Jazz Clothes.
Like the Les Mis Oklahoma Wolverine crossover.
Oklahoma would work.
Yeah.
I can feel the day getting older.
We got it.
There you go.
All right.
That's why you watch this show.
Job done.
Solutions.
Hi, it's Daniel and Gav from IGN, and we've just got the new DC Comics superheroes Lego in, so we're going to build them, have a little play with them, and maybe decide which one we would buy if we were in the shops with our own money.
Okay, so we've built the bigger of the two sets, Joe Calan. It's 1,037 pieces.
That's a lot of pieces, Daniel.
And it's quite pricey. It's about 90 quid, $120.
But
you get, relatively, you get a lot of stuff in it. You get a lot of minifigs. And it's a playset, Lego set. And each villain and hero comes with a different bit. And we're just going to go through all the different bits.
Okay, so what we go first? We go for Poison Ivy's Carnivore. Well, see, they've all got little signs on them, but they've been crossed out, so put little funny ones on it to do with what they are. So this one was called Freefall, now it's called Carnivore Freefall. What do you think about that?
Well, it's good wordplay.
Yeah.
I like that it's quite heavily themed, but also has a bit of action. So you get Poison Ivy, and you also get Starfire.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have like little interactive bits. Kill Poison Ivy. So
Bet you wasn't expecting that,
bet you
Daniel.
didn't see that coming.
No.
So there's that bit.
I like that one. That's good. Like, I quite like that they've
We'll
all
take
got
it
something
away.
that happens in them.
Yeah.
No? Do you like that?
I like that. Dioramas, Gav.
Yeah. But you don't usually like sort of.
I don't like
bits,
playset
yeah.
ones where they're just kind of like a flat background.
Right.
Whereas this feels like each one is like a little self-contained thing.
Okay.
So what's next up?
My favourite one, Daniel. It was the Rubber Duckies, renamed to the Deadly Duckies. And there's like, for the smallest bit of it all, there's actually quite a lot going on. So you get Beast Boy and Penguin minifigures with that. But the best thing is, look at that little penguin there.
Yeah. There's like it's just made out of like little
Tiny
odd ends.
yeah,
Lego.
exactly. Broken biscuit Lego penguin. But also you got these little sharks down here as well, and then you can turn at the back. And you got dynamite and stuff as well. I think this is one of my favourite ones. Like this is the one that actually reminds me of like the film because like the little duck things.
Yeah, like hopefully the film was just that for 2 hours.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
And then
It's not too bad.
occasionally Michael Keaton turned up.
Yeah, and also you mentioned before as well. So the penguin's got like the little hobbit legs that make him like shorter than everyone else. So you can see like he's a little bit smaller than everyone. That's really cute. I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, put him over there.
All right.
Right. So this is probably the most elaborate of the set pieces, the biggest.
Well, it looks it, but actually, it's not that many pieces to it.
No, but it takes up quite a bit of space. So this is
Right.
Harley Quinn's. What's it called?
Harley's Wheels of Fire.
Harley's Wheels of Fire.
Yeah.
And she's taken Robin captive.
Oh,
Robin's
no.
got lovely spiky hair in this minifig.
Well, it has to because he's hanging upside down. So his hair's gravity pulling his hair down.
Yeah, but if you take the minifig off,
Yeah.
it's still spiky. So
Ah.
explain that. Do what you will with
Shock.
that. And then interactive again. Press this side. And Robin's over little
Flames.
bins of fire.
Is he all right? Is he gonna be all right there?
I think he's in mild peril.
Bins of fire.
Bins of fire. I quite like a lot of the minifigs. All the ones that have been taken captive have these little locks, little
Yeah.
handcuffs on them.
Oh yeah, Beast
All been
Boy's got
taken
one of them,
hostage.
Yeah. I kind of feel like this is the one that I would break most if it.
Yeah, like I feel like that's gonna go.
I don't think it is though. Like I don't
No,
really
but
think
it's
it is.
buckling. It's buckling, Gav.
That's because Harley's been riding a motorbike up and down here all day.
Yeah. let's put that back.
Yeah?
This is a bit fiddly. This bit. Oh god, it's fiddly.
Yeah, I would break that. I've got big, fat, giant hands.
Well,
And then what else we got?
should we do the centerpiece before we?
Yes.
I think I'll save the best to last. I think.
Okay.
So this is the Joker's main attraction,
You having this?
Joker House. Whoa, leave it out. What's that?
That was a cannonball that I shot from the Shoot-O-Matic.
So this is the Joker House. Has a lot of interactivity. You move a little hat. So, you know, spend a few hours doing that. And then also the eyes turn.
Oh, awesome. I like the little tufts of hair at the side.
So if-
That's really cool.
So don't forget Robin as well. There's like a little, it's a very elaborate custom piece at the back, which is a slide. Actually, I'll turn it around.
Oh yeah, you can see that. That's cool. I've never seen a slide.
No, I think it's a custom bit. And then we
Wow.
put this acid tank at the bottom, which has nice little.
Why is the
acid
Joker
bubbles
messing
in.
around with acid? He shouldn't be into that. After what
That's
happened
it.
to him.
Well,
we
sometimes
go.
you love the thing that's not good for you.
That's good.
And Robin's now in acid, so.
So it doesn't
and
matter if his
that's
hair was spiky before.
Spoilers for Batman vs Superman.
I like it. This is a really good one. It's like I would
That's
actually have this on a shelf. I think.
Well, if you like the little penguin, you might also like this little dude.
What was it?
So, show that.
It's a little clown. Oh,
This little
that's
robot
cool.
clown.
I
It's a
want
little bit
that.
like Krusty.
That's really cool. I don't know why I like that so much. I think I like the little ones because, as you
It's a lot
say,
of creativity.
it's like little odd ends that they've put together to make just little cool things. Do you reckon there's someone in Lego who just has like a box of like the ones that no one likes?
Yeah,
and
no,
they just stick-
can you come up with something like that?
Can you make a robot clown, please?
We've
mate?
only got. Oh, he's like the fixer.
Yeah.
It's like that guy in Apollo 13 when they have to get the round thing in the square plug.
Yeah.
And he's like, can you make a penguin out of 6 bits of Lego? He's like, yeah, I've got this.
Yeah, mate, I got it.
Best to last.
Yeah.
You also get Batman, of course, and you get Batmobile. And I really like this Batmobile because it's inspired by the 1989 Tim Burton Batmobile.
Which we don't really see in Lego that much.
No, it's
Like,
quite
that's pretty
nice.
good.
It's almost like a jumble of styles. I quite like that.
I really
Batman
like it.
riding the Batmobile in a very unorthodox fashion,
Hey, he's Batman.
but you can sit in it if you
He
want.
deals with it. You having this? Let's see if I can get it at the camera. Ready? You having this?
Which one? The close-up one?
Yeah. Ready?
Close.
That was a good shot.
So that's Jokerland.
Yeah.
Which is your favourite bit? You get a lot in it.
It's the Penguin. The Penguin bit is really cool. Obviously, the Batmobile is really good, but I don't know, there's something quite sweet about that. Like, it's got a tiny bit of interactivity, the sharks are really funny, and just that tiny little penguin.
Good humour.
Yeah, I like it. That's my favourite.
I've got to say 1989 Batmobile.
Yeah.
Having that all day long.
That's fine.
Okay, so this is the smaller of the two sets. This is the Batboat Harbour
tiny.
Pursuit. It's about $30.
Okay.
Also 30 quid.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Let's not get into it. Let's not get into it,
question global economics.
Okay.
Okay? Because you're always doing that. This is the Batboat. So yeah, just point out the minifigs first, because that's why a lot of people get these sets.
Yeah.
Batman is the same as the Jokerland Batman.
Is it?
But yeah, it's like the standard Batman in a lot of the sets. But the other two minifigs are exclusives to this set.
Wow.
I can't get them off. Oh, I've broken the handles anyway. You get Deathstroke.
Yep.
There you go, Slade Wilson, and also a exclusive Robin as well.
Very cool. I really like the Destro thing. You've got a little thing around the back of his head. It's good, isn't it?
Little bandana.
Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, so let's focus on what Deathstroke comes with. He comes with a little tiny boat.
Yeah.
And I've interpreted, I don't know about you, but I think he has stolen something.
Yeah.
In a safe.
Yeah.
Which he has rather recklessly dragging through the water.
Maybe that's what it is. He, like, put a chain on it, ripped it out of the wall, and now he's escaping into the sea. Yeah. Which is lucky. The Batman's got a boat, really, isn't it?
And that's what Lego is. It's a catalyst of the imagination.
Exactly.
And if you open up the safe,
yeah,
a little jewels.
What?
I've never seen these before. These are little Lego jewels, and they're probably not going to show up very well, but yeah. So that's the boat, and he's also got a little place for his two swords at the back.
Oh yeah, awesome.
It's cool.
That is really cool. I like this. There's a lot of, like, even though it's quite small, and to be honest, I have to be honest, like, I don't like vehicle Lego stuff when they just like crank it out and you think like, oh, Batman boat. What? When does he have? Why does he need that? Like,
Batman, but that's not like as like it's not as unnatural as the Spider-Man car.
But it always
has a boat.
But it always feels sometimes like they're just doing it just for the sets. But saying that, this is really good and it's put together really, really well. And my favourite bit here, he's got a little computer for when he wants to do his tweets, isn't there?
You gotta be out in the field.
Yeah. Keeping an eye on stuff.
Little keyboards.
You forget, so those tickets to go see the Maccabees goes on sale.
Google Maps.
And he's got to go on Ticketmaster to get them.
Batman like the Maccabees?
Yeah, they're quite slow. I think Batman would like the Maccabees. They're good. They feel a lot of stuff, and so does he, because he's been through a lot. And so have they.
You have a very different Batman.
So you've got the little computer thing. I really like that. Also, like, there's room for two people, so they can ride tandem alongside it. But I think that the way that it's made up as well, like, it's almost like 4 different dinghies put together.
They've like he's rafted them together.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because like it would be kind of, you know, DIY putting it together type thing, and that's what he's done. I think that's really, really good. Well done, Batman.
Okay, so what is your favourite bit from the set?
The computer.
Definitely the computer.
Well, yeah, because I want to go see. If I've forgotten to get tickets to the Maccabees, he can get them for me.
At sea.
I'll get him a text.
At sea.
I'll drop him a text and he'll go get them for me. So that's why I like the computer. You?
Probably like just a little Deathstroke.
The safe is funny, isn't it?
Safe is funny.
Yeah. And
I like the chain, and I like that you can easily lose the loot in the water that you're imagining. So those are the 2 new Batman-themed Lego sets. Are you a fan of Batman Lego? What superhero Lego would you really like to see? Let us know. superheroshowign.com.
A lot of feedback now about the subject we talked about last year about Marvel and DC villains and comic book villains in general. David Mitchell Baker says, loved your discussion on the MCU villains on last week's show, and I have to say that I believe a lot of the villains are the victim of the origin stories on screen, time being voted to strengthening a character. I think the Winter Soldier, Loki and Alexander Pierce are probably the best so far, but I'm personally really looking forward to Baron Zemo in Civil War. I think he could be a real breakout character and villain who deals some serious damage to the MCU heroes. And you're right, when the origin story is dedicated to the hero, doesn't give the villain much time.
Skewed. Another email from Alex in Montreal about the villain problem. We talked about Marvel's movies being... he says, you've talked about Marvel movie villains being weak, and I think I know what the problem is. Unfortunately, I doubt we'll ever get a great villain like Heath Ledger's Joker or Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in the MCU, because doing a great villain in a movie also means making a darker movie, in my opinion. And Kevin Feige already stated that the MCU will never go really dark. The best villains are always the ones that are scary and violent, like the ones I've mentioned, and I'm not sure they'll be able to do this in the movies that are also aimed for kids.
I think that's a really good point as well.
Yeah.
Got some good feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want darkness in your villain,
Yeah.
and how dark is MCU prepared
And
to
a
go?
lot of the deaths so far, like in the two Avengers movies, we've had aliens and robots.
Yeah.
Like there's a famous scene in the comics in the Infinity Saga where Thanos dons the gauntlet and clicks his fingers and half the universe dies. If they did that, though, possibly if they went and did something like that, it would be so shocking coming out of the context where nothing like that has yet happened in the MCU.
Well, aliens and robots allow you to kill lots of people on screen without there being blood
In
and
very
retaining
graphic ways.
retaining a PG rating. So more aliens and robots.
If you just click your finger and everyone just like topples over, get away with that.
Was it the Shyamalan one, The Happening? Everyone.
Oh yeah, maybe don't do it like that.
Do it better than that. Greg Sear says, I think when it comes to the DCU the MCU villains, the problem has to do with the characters themselves. They've been unable to use Doom, Magneto, and various Spidey villains, who are some of the best in the Marvel comics. Ironmonger, Whiplash, Abomination, Malekith, Ronan, and Darren Cross are one-note or C-list bad guys. No wonder they weren't anything special on screen. Ultron and Loki are compelling A-list villains, and they were enjoyable. A guy like Red Skull might be Cap's arch-enemy, but there isn't much to him, just an evil Nazi, and that's how they portrayed him. Even Mandarin isn't a very compelling villain in the comics, but Kingsley's fake Mandarin character was really entertaining. I think many people discount him because it wasn't the Mandarin they wanted. I think they'll do Thanos justice come Infinity War. Like Ultron and Loki, he's an interesting character with a lot of rich history to work with. And I think you've got an email about Ultron.
I do. So this is Chad of Oregon.
Who could be a Thor character.
Chad of Oregon has written in, I truly hope that Thanos does not crack a single joke throughout part 1 and 2 of Infinity War. My biggest issue with Ultron in Avengers 2 was that he simply was not Ultron. Like Thanos, Ultron should never have been cracking wise and chumming it up with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I am glad the Russo brothers have been attached to lead the MCU into the future and hope Joss Whedon and his Whedon speak stay as far away from the franchise as possible from here on out. I'm sure that is going to be the case.
Yeah,
he's
like
out.
it.
He's out.
He's done.
Thanos should be an intimidating force, a la Winter Soldier, a calculated general hell-bent on destruction and conquest. And to make him interesting on screen, Marvel should play up his obsessive infatuation with death in order to play him up as a more complex character than what's seen on the surface. Thank you, Chad of Oregon.
Yeah, Chad of Oregon. That's made me more excited about Thanos just hearing him talk like that.
Thank you, Chad of Oregon.
And one thing I will say before we leave this subject is the last email but one talking about the fact that we're not going to get those dark villains in the MCU. We might see Kingpin.
Yeah.
Make the crossover. You know, TV's established him. I'd love to see him in Civil War, but if we don't, you know, standalone Spidey movie,
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance we could see
And
him.
also, like, I think that this scope, like, I sometimes with, even though they're all the same continuity, we're kind of sold on the idea of Netflix being really dark and the Marvel movies having this consistent tone. But what really emphasised the difference in tone between the films for me was watching Ant-Man and then at the end seeing Falcon again in a scene from Winter Soldier. And the tone was completely different because of the way it was shot, the way it was scripted, the way it was played. Falcon in Ant-Man was playing it up for laughs. The way he was getting his ass kicked by Ant-Man.
Yeah.
The way he's like talking on the bench. I know it's told through Michael Pena, so it's funnier. But it just shows you that even though it doesn't have to have a great consistency of tone, just like in the comic books, they can do ones in different imprints that have a slightly different spin on it.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, like, I think Strange is going to have a different tone as well. And it's going to be darker and scarier. So yeah, I don't think that's incompatible.
No, I mean, and it's a challenge for Fox if they do ever want to get Deadpool in the X-Men movies and the guy breaks the fourth wall, but the X-Men don't. Like, that's a challenge in itself.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
Right, Carla Egley says, last week you asked which of Marvel's villains we are looking forward to. I am really looking forward to seeing David Tennant's take on Purple Man in Jessica
Forgot about
Jones.
this.
I think Tennant will be fantastic, since we know he can play Psycho. I hope we get to see more about Jessica Jones soon. I can't wait. And I think since this email was sent, we found out it's actually going to be on Netflix this year, which is really exciting. Yeah. You're a big Purple Man fan, aren't you?
I'm a huge fan of Purple Men. But I quite like David Tennant. I completely forgot that he was casted. There's so much Marvel casting. Forgot, and that's a really horrible role. That's a really horrible role. Yeah. And I wonder if you can see him then in future. So he might do one season of Jessica Jones, and then he might be contracted to guest appearances. So down the line, he might turn up in Daredevil season 3. as just a one-off villain, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does with that character.
It'd be interesting to see the contracts that these people are signing now.
Yeah, especially-
in terms of TV and film.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
crossovers.
God. It's complicated. Ryan from Guyana. Ryan always writes in, "Hey Ryan, while many people are disappointed by Channing Tatum leaving the Gambit project, I'm not. So when we're reading this, we don't know that is the case. That's the prevalent rumour. I thought that Tatum, even with his star power, was an awkward fit for the most part. I think that this is an ideal opportunity for Fox to cast a younger actor for the role and therefore achieve one of their objectives of introducing a younger team of X-Men through a shared universe as the franchise moves forward."
Interesting. I like the title of that.
Or Gambit Fiasco.
Gambit Fiasco. Had to read that out. I've got an email from Adil Zubair who says, "Greetings from London."
Polite.
Greetings. Apparently the Fantastic Four embargo is on the same day as its release date, hours before the first screenings. Why would 20th Century Fox wait until the release date to allow people to share their thoughts on the film? What doesn't make sense to me is that they already got a release date for a sequel, so it doesn't mean they don't have faith in the movie to do well. Maybe they don't want people bad-mouthing for the opening week of the movie, as many people have already done so. I'm giving it a chance and not basing my decision on other people's opinion. You should always do that. I have no clue about Fantastic Four besides their powers and the characters' names, nor have I seen the other two films. So you're coming in with an open mind and a clean slate. So we should preface this by saying next week, although Fantastic Four will be out, he's off at Gamescom with the rest of the team, so we won't have our Fantastic Four show next week.
We're going to do it a week later, but that makes more
after.
sense.
Yeah,
then
and we'll make
can
it
see it,
spoilery.
and then we can talk about everything that happens in it.
So a couple of questions here. How do you address these?
So I think it's good to keep an open mind, as long
Yeah.
as always keep an open mind as long as your brain doesn't fall out. And what I should say is, it's usually not a great sign that we don't
Yes.
see stuff way in advance. We saw Ant-Man pretty far out.
Yeah, in our experience, like professionally, if the studio... They do it a lot with horror films, actually, because I don't think they trust critics to like horror films in general. And they worry that it'll adversely affect the film's box office. And yeah, when it happens with a blockbuster, it sets alarm bells off, but who knows?
Yeah, and there are sometimes cases, because I work across games as well,
Yeah.
where the game embargo will be really close to when the game's out, and it's actually sometimes a good game. So it shouldn't set alarm bells off yet, but it should make you conscious. And then also to the point that they must be confident because they've set a release date. That doesn't mean anything.
Nothing. That means nothing.
Also, even if it's not very good, they can still plow ahead and think they could maybe do a better second movie and
Yeah.
just go, God, we can't reboot this again. Let's just keep on going.
They might.
Don't say that.
They might.
Don't say that.
Anyway, we've got our fingers crossed, haven't we, for that one?
Yeah, so we love hearing your thoughts as always. Please send us emails at superheroeshow@ign.com, and until next week, for everything Marvel, DC, and all the rest, stay right here on IGN.